Okay. All right, here we go. Good evening. I'd like to welcome everybody to this meeting of the Village of Skokie Zoning Board of Appeals. The Zoning Board of Appeals is created by the statutes of the state of Illinois and by the ordinances of the Village of Skokie for the purpose of granting proper case relief from the strict terms of our zoning ordinances. The decision of this board to either grant or deny relief will be based upon the evidence presented to it and how that evidence is related to the standards for granting relief. All persons who have an interest in a case, either as a petitioner or as a member of the public, either supporting or opposing the petition, or as an independent witness, will be given a chance to speak on the record and to express his or her points of view. The Zoning Board of Appeals is not a court of law, and therefore, we do not follow the strict rules of evidence. However, this hearing will be conducted in such a manner as to hear only competent evidence or statements. Questions as to procedure, interpretation, and of the admissibility of statements or evidence will be ruled upon by Corporation Counsel Tyler Kobilski, and his legal decisions will be binding upon this board. Certain cases require a covenant running with the land. This will be prepared and recorded by the Village of Skokie Legal Department, and this is done at the petitioner's expense. Whether or not a covenant is required is a determination to be made by the Corporation Counsel at the conclusion of each individual case. If a covenant running with the land is required, it cannot or will not be prepared until our court reporter has returned to the Zoning Board of Appeals a transcript of these proceedings. The Village of Skokie will notify each petitioner when the covenant has been prepared and is ready for signature. No building permits can be applied for or issued until the covenant is signed by the petitioner. Should a petition for variation be denied or should a covenant not be required, the Zoning Board of Trustees will authorize a refund of any required fees. Let's see. Should it be necessary for the petitioner to request a continuation due to lack of preparation, a case continuation fee of 1/2 of the original application fee is due prior to the rehearing date. This request must be made before any testimony begins. All petitioners must receive a vote of the majority of the zoning board present in order to decide any matter under consideration. Our full complement is 9 members. However, tonight's complement is 7 members, making 4 votes necessary to make a determination on a petition. Since we do not have a full board complement, you are entitled to seek a continuation of your case. But this request must be made before testimony begins. Once testimony begins before this board having less than its full complement, no appeal or rehearing will be granted on these grounds. Okay. All right, tonight we have one lone case on the agenda, number 2018-01Z, 3609 to 3639 Howard Street. And in that particular matter, I'll ask Corporation Counsel, has proper notice been served and notarized?
Notice is proper and correct.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. And before we proceed with the case tonight, I'll ask the members that inside your packet, we had the minutes from our previous zoning board meeting from December 20th of last year, which was the case 2017-12Z, 3835 White Cloud Drive. And it was approved unanimously. So if everybody's had a chance to read the minutes, if there's no corrections or addendums made to it, the chair will entertain a motion to approve the minutes.
I'd like to make a motion to approve the minutes from our last meeting.
All right, Commissioner Perlin.
Second it.
All right.
Okay.
Thank you very much. All in favor, please say aye.
Yes.
Anybody opposed? No? Okay. Thank you very much, Marlene, as always. Okay. All right. Now that the house cleaning's been done, we can go ahead and move forward with our case for the evening. While the petitioners go ahead and please go up to the podium. And once you get there, I'll just swear you in real quick. Let's see. Do you affirm that the testimony you are about to give is true and correct to the best of your knowledge or belief? Please answer in the affirmative.
Yes.
Okay, great. Thank you very much. Okay, so we got 2018-01Z, 3609 and 3639 Howard Street. And tonight's presentation is being made by Commissioner Kirkpatrick. So Sharon, the floor is yours.
Okay. Case 2018-01Z, 3609 to 3639 Howard Street. Skokie Commerce Center, Inc. requests a variation in order to install a 57-foot wide driveway measured at the street right-of-way line abutting the lot rather than the 35-foot wide maximum as required by Section 118-212, subsection C, subsection 1B4 of the zoning chapter of the Skokie Village Code in an M3 industry district. There is a letter authorizing a presentation. Please accept this letter as authorization for Gregory Skovich, Vice President at Hillwood, to represent Skokie Commerce Center, Inc. interests in the pursuit of a variance to increase the driveway width at 3601 Howard. This effort should include, but not be limited to, authorization to sign on behalf of the entity any petitions or formal variance applications and represent Skokie Commerce Center, Inc. at the formal Zoning Board of Appeals meeting. This authorization is limited to navigating the variance process only to increase the width of the drive located on the northwest corner from the site from the proposed truck court onto Howard Street. If you have any questions regarding this requested authorization, please do not hesitate to contact me. Sincerely, Donald Schoenheider, Senior Vice President, Skokie Commerce Center, Inc. And then we have the petitioner's statement. It's addressed to Steve Marciani, Planning Supervisor. Dear Steve, as I mentioned during our phone conversation this morning, Hillwood Investment Properties is requesting a variance to exceed the maximum driveway width of 35 feet for the proposed driveway located at the northwestern portion of their property. The attached exhibit shows the truck turning movements into and out of the site in both conditions. One, as we propose to construct it, assuming a variance is granted, and two, as it would be constructed if the variance were denied. With the variance, trucks can move into and out of the site freely without any conflicts and without using an extra lane of traffic. Without a variance, trucks won't be able to enter and exit freely. Only one movement at a time is possible, so trucks will need to wait either along Howard Street or further south in the truck court area until they have clearance to begin their maneuver. An eastbound truck turning right into the site would be required to swerve into the adjacent lane of traffic in order to make the maneuver. We understand that there are many older industrial areas, whether in Skokie, Chicago, or the O'Hare Market, where truck drivers have no choice but to maneuver as best they can, given the particular conditions they are facing. Whether that's swerving into other lanes of traffic to swing wide, waiting for another truck to make their maneuver first, or running over the curb and rutting the landscaping. However, any new projects that are being designed today should be designed to function smoothly, efficiently, and safely. There is a civil engineering comment. Civil engineering had no objections to the petitioner's request as long as the petitioner provides revised drawings showing 1 to 10 scale grading details for their 57-foot access point, showing slopes and grades for pedestrian crossing zone and other surfaces, and revised drainage plans to account for the new access configuration such that storm runoff is intercepted at the property line. Traffic engineering had the following: add white stop bar and stop sign for exit traffic on driveway. Sidewalk leading up to driveway should have detectable warning per IDOT standard 424026-01. Crosswalk pavement marking to extend through driveway. 6-inch white lines with 12-inch 45 degrees diagonal lines at 3 feet CC? 3 foot CC, whatever that is. I'm sorry, not an engineer. See crosswalk through driveways on north side of Howard. Add 18 by 18 active driveway signs on each side of driveway to warn pedestrians of driveway. Please see driveways on north side of Howard as example.
Okay.
And then the staff recommendation was basically what I just said.
Right. Okay, great. Thanks, Sharon. We'll let you grab a sip of water. That was a mild bit of recitation there. Good evening.
Good evening.
Hi. Can we have your name and please spell it for us so we have it for the record?
My name is Greg Skovich,
Okay,
representing Skokie Commerce Center
okay,
and Hillwood Investment Properties.
okay,
First name's Greg, G-R-E-G, Skovich, S-C-O-V as in Victor, I-T-C-H.
okay. All right, and your name, sir?
Yeah, Jeff Jacob, Jacob and Hefner Associates. We're
Okay.
the civil engineers on the project.
Okay, great, thank you. All right, who would like to begin with the presentation for the case tonight? Tell us why we're here.
Well, first of all, thanks Brian and Marlene for the help guiding us through the process, Mr. Commissioner and fellow board members for taking time out of your schedule to hear us tonight. But I think what had been presented is I'm not sure that there's much more that we can expand upon, but what we're trying to do is we commissioned, as part of the site plan approval process and permitting process, we commissioned a traffic impact study, and the impact study demonstrated that Howard has adequate capacity from traffic flow standpoint to support this type of development. And what we're requesting through this variance is to maintain the conditions that exist on Howard so that our development doesn't introduce any disruptions to traffic flowing on Howard as it exists today. So if without the variance, the facility can exist just like all the other facilities in Skokie, but given that this is a Class A, modern facility, we certainly don't want to be the cause of any disrupted traffic flow on Howard, and selfishly we'd like to maintain good traffic in and out of the building as well. So we've created these exhibits to demonstrate some visuals. On the top you can see that represents the requested variance, and you can see the traffic coming in and out of the facility without any disruption to each other. So basically the eastbound traffic on Howard is not swerving out into oncoming traffic or taking up a second lane. And then similarly, the pink truck represents a tractor trailer leaving the facility and accessing Howard going east. In reality, the likelihood of them going west on Howard is highly unlikely. More than likely, they're going to go east to McCormick and down to Toohey to where they'll eventually find their way to 94. On the bottom, what we have shown here is if the variance is not granted, and as you can see, the two turning radiuses are overlapping, which would create a problem to where one, either traffic on Howard is stalled out waiting for the truck leaving the facility, or similarly the truck coming in is less important, less critical to the variance, but the truck coming in is causing the tractor trailer leaving the facility to stall. As the other exhibit that we have represents traffic going the other direction, which is more realistic as to where the traffic's going to go, east to McCormick. So as you can see, we still have the similar conflict for traffic going eastbound as well. Jeff, am I missing anything? So that's our petition and a couple of visuals to support the petition. Everything that staff has recommended, we are in agreement with and will accommodate if the board approves the petition.
Okay, all right, great. Mr. Jacob, is there anything you wanted to add at this time in particular to elaborate on?
No, I think Greg covered it pretty well, so.
I would think so as well. Commissioner Kirkpatrick, would you like to give us your impressions on this case, please?
Well, there's certainly enough room to do what they're asking to do, and I think that the impact to not do it would definitely negatively impact the traffic on Howard.
Yeah, no question. Yes, Commissioner Perlin, I see you reaching for your button.
Yeah, thank you. So could you just explain briefly what the development is?
Good question. We took down the property about May of last year. It was formerly a manufacturing facility that had been raised and was vacant for 6 or 7 years, had some environmental challenges, a deed restriction prohibiting any development other than a commercial or industrial. And we saw this as an opportunity to come into the community and build a 236,000 square foot speculative industrial warehouse distribution facility, similar to the developments in the neighborhood, but this is a modern facility, whereas the surrounding developments are, 1950s era, if not older than that.
What is speculative mean?
So speculative is, if you build it, they will come. So we do not have.
It's a field of dreams.
It's a field of dreams, very
Right.
good. No, it's an empty warehouse, and we feel that the vacancy rate in this market is such that there was a need, a demand, and our customers that we work with across the market and across the nation have expressed interest in setting a flag in the village of Skokie, and we're responding to that and building the speculative development, and are very optimistic that we'll be able to fill it with some good tenants that'll make the village proud.
Any other questions for petitioners at all? No? This is something I don't get to ask very often. Is there anything that anybody in the audience would like to say? No? No, I see a head shaking, so I guess everything must be okay. Oh, I saw a thumbs up. That's awesome. I love it. I just like to say a couple things. I know what you're saying about the access to a building like this. Speaking of Howard Street, I live not far from the intersection of Howard and Cicero at Skokie Boulevard, and often you see trucks trying to make a right-hand turn, and people that are in a left turn lane usually have to back up and stuff like that. So, personally, I always leave room for truckers. I never go all the way up in the left turn lane for this very reason. So, this is a great illustrative point to, some of the problems that can be encountered when you have older infrastructure that isn't prepared in advance in the way that you're trying to do here. So that's great. I just have one, and it's completely not germane to what we're doing. You were saying about the old building. Did you have to do a lot of remediation on the land at all?
Fortunately, the land seller corrected all of the environmental
Yeah.
issues with the Illinois Department of Natural Resources. That doesn't mean that the contaminants were removed, but it does mean that they came to an agreement with the Department of Natural Resources stating that, we will only develop commercial or industrial, and where there is areas of known contamination, you need to treat them with specific, steps and guidelines, and we have accommodated all of those and continue to do so.
Yeah. Yeah, great. Now, just curious. That's all. So, we mentioned the analysis from the civil engineering and traffic engineering departments. Is that okay with you, all the conditions? Well, because what we will do, and Sharon, were you planning on reading?
Yeah.
Okay. When?
I believe they already said they would accept it.
Right. But do you want to read them into the record to make them a condition? Okay, cool. So we're going to make those a condition. Okay, great. Anything else for the petitioners? In the audience? No? Staff? No? Great, everybody's done their homework. That being said, the chair will entertain a motion.
Mr. Chairman, I propose the following in the granting of a variance to the petitioner as follows: that Skokie Commerce Center, Inc. is the owner of a lot described in case number 2018-01Z for the property located at 3609 to 3639 Howard Street, Skokie, Cook County, Illinois. That said lot is a platted lot of record and is abutted by commercial buildings on the east and west. That a determination has been made in which the petitioner's request is consistent with the majority of the findings of fact as stated in the Village of Skokie zoning chapter. I therefore propose that a variance be granted to the petitioner for giving failure to comply with the requirements of the zoning ordinance of the Village of Skokie as amended as to the width of driveway. That the petitioner be granted the variance to install a 57-foot wide driveway measured at the street right-of-way line abutting the lot rather than the 35-foot wide maximum as required by Section 11812C1B I believe 4, of the zoning chapter of the Skokie Village Code in an M3 industry district, provided that the staff recommendations are followed to add white stop bar and stop sign for exit traffic on driveway. Sidewalk leading up to driveway should have detectable warning per IDOT standard 424026-01. Crosswalk pavement marking to extend through driveway. 6-inch white lines with 12-inch 45-degree diagonal lines at 3-foot CC. See crosswalk through driveways on the north side of Howard for reference. Add 18 by 18 active driveway signs on each side of the driveway to warn pedestrians of driveway. Provide updated drawings showing the following: 1 to 10 scale grading details for the 57-foot access point, showing slopes and grades for pedestrian crossing zone and other surfaces. Revised drainage plans to account for the new access configuration such that storm runoff is intercepted at the property line. That all other codes and ordinances of the Village of Skokie shall be fully and strictly complied with.
Okay, great, thank you. We have a motion to approve with conditions.
I just want to make sure we had said it was section 118-212C1B4. I couldn't hear if it was only 12 or 212. I just want to make sure it's clear for the record, but we can move to a second now.
Okay, all right. So we have a motion to approve with conditions. Do I hear a second?
Second.
All right, Commissioner Perlin seconds the motion. And thank you, Corporation Counsel, for the clarification. You've earned your paycheck for tonight.
I'm trying to do something.
Okay. All right, the chair will go ahead and call the roll. Commissioner Arden?
Yes.
Commissioner Kirkpatrick?
Aye.
Let's see, Commissioner Jacobson?
Aye.
Let's see, Commissioner Shaw?
Yes.
Commissioner Franklin?
Aye.
Commissioner Perlin?
Yes.
And the chair will vote aye. So in the matter of 2018-01Z, the motion to approve with conditions has unanimously been approved. So congratulations. And what does petitioner need to know from here on out, Corporation Counsel?
This will require a variance, so we'll work on that. It should be right in the next couple of weeks, and the property owner will need to sign it, and they'll be filed with the recorder of deeds, and you can get your building permit.
You said the request will require a variance?
What am I thinking of? Covenant.
Covenant.
Sorry. We don't do these too often this year. It's a variance that requires a covenant, so we're going to be working on preparing the covenant. It should be right in the next couple of weeks.
Terrific.
Okay. All right,
Yeah,
congratulations,
you guys-
and good luck with your project. I'm
You guys can work on the revised drawings to submit.
Understood.
excited to see what it looks like when it's done. So I'm great, I'm sure it'll be a great addition to the village, so. Okay, thank you very much. Okay, that is it for tonight. Just a couple other things. We will not be having a meeting for March 7th. So the next regularly scheduled meeting will take place on March 21st?
Yes, it will.
Yes, it will. Okay, so you won't be here. Oh, we'll miss you terribly. So
I'm pretty sure.
you can Skype. Well, hopefully we'll have a quorum, so that won't be needed. Okay, so do you know what will be on the agenda as of yet?
Yeah,
One case, two
we'll be one case. We'll be sending out the agenda shortly.
Okay, great. All right, thank you very much. And then just one more thing I want to bring up because it was in our packet. The village does have its boards and commissions reception slated for Monday, March 12th at 6 p.m. And we have two members of the Zoning Board of Appeals who will be getting awards on that night. Sean, congratulations in advance. So hopefully you'll be able to make it. And Cindy. So that's it. Anybody have anything else they need to say, bring up, et cetera? If not, then this meeting of the Village of Skokie Zoning Board of Appeals is adjourned. Thank you very much. Good night, TV Land.